Welcome to Creative Conversations. I'm Roger Humphrey. In this episode, we're spending some time with best-selling author Kim Barder, a fascinating individual. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this conversation. Before we get started, please take just a moment and hit that like and subscribe button down below. It's an easy thing for you, but it really helps out the channel. Thanks. So we're welcoming to the show Kim Barder. Thank you so much for being on the show, Kim. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with me.
Thank you, Roger, for having me. So grateful to be here.
Oh yeah. This is going to be fun. Of course, as I had indicated before, this is a new format for me, using video and audio, and it'll be listed under two formats. Actually, it'll go out as audio under Spotify and Apple and a bunch of others, and then the video will go on my YouTube channel. So I'll send you links to all of that when
Okay, so I'm the first one. That's great.
Yes. The inaugural, so I can make all my mistakes with you. So hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, geez, Louise. Okay, no pressure.
So you are an author of the book. I have it here. Here's Now I Am.
Now I Am. Here it is, right here.
Oh, there it is, right in front of me, too. So, yeah. Well, I took notes. It would help if I actually read the notes that I took. But
yeah, that's okay. Now I Am. This is the book, and illustrated by the wonderful Simona Minenti. And so this is it. Titled Now
nice.
I Am.
It looks nice.
Thank you so much.
And I know this is available on Amazon, and I'm assuming on your website as well. Is that correct?
It is, and there's a link on my Instagram and on my website, and also it's in Barnes and Noble and Walmart, and it's on Kindle and probably good. Many places. Yeah.
Good. How's it doing?
Doing very well. Yeah, doing very well. When it first came out, it was, I think, for 2.5, 3 weeks, it was #1 on Amazon. So that was nice.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
In different categories. There's, they have all their different categories, self-help and new releases, and they have all different kind of categories, like 5 or 6 or 7 that they classified my book in. So
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that for you. So let's talk a little bit about that, because this has to do with starseed, I think was the phrase that I read. Is that correct?
Well, that was one of the phrases of many. Mostly, this book is basically my awakening journey. The first, from 2012 till approximately 2014, 15. I had to end it somewhere. I mean, it's a continuous process for all of us, right? But
sure.
I had to, for the book purposes, the editors were like, we have to end this somewhere. Otherwise, I could write forever. So I took it from 2012, December 21st. That was the date that I had my first, awakening experience. That's in the book in the very beginning.
Can you explain what that is? What does that mean?
Okay, so, I'll just talk about my own experience, because that's all I can speak of, right?
Sure.
And hopefully that'll help people understand. I was living my life as a mother and a wife, and going through life as a mom, and had employment with my husband and my father for a while, and always wrote poetry and things like that. But basically, I was a mother of one son, and so I grew up in Singapore. My mother's Australian, my dad was American, and so I've traveled extensively in my younger years, and had that experience. And I was just living my life, living in Pennsylvania, in Bucks County, in a suburb of Philadelphia, and still do right now in my adult years, and raising my son, and he was going to school. And just strange things. At the time, I would classify them as strange and odd things, but now they're normal. But at the time, things started happening in my life, and to get my attention, and out of the ordinary. And they certainly got my attention, and they're all in the book. The initial phases of my awakening journey, I'll call it. And many, many people right now are awakening on the planet, having their own experiences. And it doesn't have to be a sudden thing like it was for me. It can be a gradual. I have many friends who are awake, right, what we call awake right now, who are, when I say awake, I mean know who they are, at their core essence, which is love, and know that they are the creator themselves. We're powerful creators of our own realities, which we create our realities through our thoughts, words, actions, and beliefs about things. And so, yeah, so this was I had an experience. And sometimes when you're what I call and many call dead asleep, living your life, not understanding who you are, and that's okay. Everybody wakes up in their own perfect divine time and order, and there's no judgment around that. And there's no, I mean, some of the great masters woke up thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, and that was perfect. And I happened to wake up December 21st, 2021. And so, I mean, not 2021, sorry, 2012. And that was my beginning of my awakening journey. And what happens is we all have soul missions, right? And they're all individual. And if people say, what is my soul mission? Well, if any, it's to love self and love all as self, basically. But aside from that, there are also, we can have specific soul missions, and we can have many. And so I needed to wake up out of the dead slumber I was in. And I was in a slumber, living my life, just going day to day. And the universe gave me a wake-up call, which I am the universe. So I ordered it myself and orchestrated it myself. But it was a wake-up call that put me on my trajectory path, so to speak, to fulfill my divine soul purpose, which we each have. And so it's different for everybody because we each have specific soul missions and different times, perfect divine time for those soul missions to take place. And so I needed, I guess maybe I slumbered a bit too, but everything's perfect. But I mean, in terms of having a jolt, I had a jolt, and I listened to my friends, and they're like, well, mine was a gradual process. When I was a child, I used to see flashes of light in the corner of my eye, and then I'd hear something, or I'd have an intuitive notion about something, and I'd say, "Oh, isn't that wonderful?" Because mine was like bam, mine was like a bam. But the most important thing at the time when it happened, and it's in my book, but the time when it happened, and it was very jarring at the time to me, but it was meant to be. And like I said, we are all the universe. So we were the creators of our own reality in co-creation with the highest aspect of who it is that we are at all times, whether conscious or unconscious of that, we are. And I needed to wake up to get on my trajectory to align with my soul mission. And so that's what took place. And it was very jarring for me at the time. And I was a little unnerved, a lot unnerved about it. But as it sent me on a quest for knowledge, rapidly, like the next day. I was
that's
like,
rapid.
yeah, just reading voraciously, so much material. I found a wonderful spiritual bookstore close to me here. And actually, I'm very good friends with the owner still today. And I walked into the store and I said, this is what's happening to me. What's going on? And there were several women there, I guess in their 60s and 70s and some in their 50s, and wise women. And they said, oh, we know exactly what's going on. Come this way and read this, and you can read this. And they steered me in the right direction to assist me. And I have books and books and books and a whole library here in my house. And just to understand, because I knew that knowledge was power, wisdom was power, that I needed to understand, because I was, in all honesty, I was fearful at the time. But in hindsight, looking back now, there was absolutely nothing to be afraid of. The divine was in control of the whole situation, command of it the whole time, which was me. And it was orchestrated to just do that, get me going and get me understanding and get me on my path so I could do the work that I'm here to do this lifetime. So, and everybody has a different, we're all one. The nugget in this is that we're all oneness consciousness. However, we're all having an experience, we've had thousands of years, the experience of separation consciousness and the forgetting of who we are. as the one universe, the God, the divine, the I am presence, whatever you feel comfortable in referring to, that which created you and everything else in the universe and creation, in all of existence, whatever. And I don't even use the word God, because I mean, I do sometimes, I do now, but people have connotations attached to that sometimes, or beliefs about that. So I'll use the universe or divine, or I'll tell people, pick whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with, that created you and everything else. That's what we're talking about here. So yeah, so it was a waking up to the remembrance of oneness, that I am one with all things, as all things are one with me, and everybody else is, we're all one. There's only one energy here, and that's love energy, in the all of creation and existence. No matter how it is perceived at any given moment, its true essence is love, and everything has a purpose. Whether you understand what that purpose is at any given moment or not, it has a purpose, and it's always serving your highest good, and that's the highest perspective. But yes, many people will say, well, how does that happen, when such and such is happening and such is happening? But there's a much grander perspective, because you can have, I don't want to get into too much detail, but you can have a linear perspective of something that you think is horrific happening, going on. You say, how can that be love? And then you can have a spiritual perspective, zoom out, as the angels say, zoom out, and everything happens for a reason, because that is happening. It's bringing forth an awareness to something which needs to be healed, to be loved, to be seen, in order to be enfolded back into the love that it is, and needed to be, so everything goes back to its original source of creation, which is love. And so everything happens for a reason. Everything has a purpose. And so, yeah, so that was a question. I went off on a tangent, but
No, it's fine.
everything's connected. So it tends to do that sometimes.
Well, I think people are curious. Not everybody wants to admit that, but I think there's a curiosity, and I think there's my experience with conversations I've had. A lot of people will draw a line between organized religion and spirituality without necessarily realizing it's all kind of mushed together in one way or another. I think it's
Yeah, and that's okay. There's infinite ways to the divine, right? There's infinite ways to the I am. And when I say I am, I'm talking about God, the universe, the divine, all of creation. That love energy, that's what we're speaking of, that created us and everything else. Yeah, so there's infinite ways, and if somebody gets there through religions, that's perfect. Somebody gets there through spirituality, that's perfect. And there's no one way. There's infinite ways,
it's the destination, or yeah, that matters. Once it's getting there.
Well, it's your journey that
Yeah.
is the significant part, because we're infinite beings of pure unconditional love and light. We never get it done, and we can't get it wrong. We're constantly evolving and changing, and constantly evolving and expanding to higher light. That's the definition of the universe change in itself. Even Jesus and the great masters of light are evolving and expanding to higher light. If you can imagine that, they truly are. Everything is evolving and expand, and you're one with them, by the way. That was one of the beautiful things they came through and told me when I started this process, because I work with the great Center Masters of Light and the angelic hosts, and they came in, and the beings of light, they came in and said, don't see us on a pedestal at all. You give all your love first and foremost to the I am, which is all of creation itself. If you want to think of it as a big bubble, the I am, and they said to me, which by the way, you are and we are. And then everything resides in that bubble, and it's already been created. So you give your love and attention and turn first and foremost to that, to the I am that I am. And then you can give your love to us as well as yourself. But don't put us on a pedestal. This is all about remembrance of oneness consciousness. When you put us on a pedestal, you are saying in that moment that you somehow think we are different than you. And how can that be in oneness consciousness? There, in truth, is only one of us here, appearing as many for the sake of the experience on earth. So God, that we know, the divine, whatever you're comfortable with saying, who created you and everything else, for this experience on earth right now, fractalized itself into fractals, into Roger Humphrey, into Kim Barder, into a tree, into a dog, and it wanted to know itself in all its infiniteness, and so it made itself in all its infiniteness, and we are the divine is experiencing self through us. And that's the way they would like us to think about it. When you take a sip of tea, for example, they say, have in your consciousness and awareness, I am infinite awareness. I am the I am that I am. I am pure awareness, having the experience of drinking this tea. So it is working through you. So it's a co-creation. And you get to a point where you're conscious of that. And mind you, I'm just like the angels told us, you're a toddler in the woods. You know what I mean? Like, we're all like infants on the scale of consciousness right now, but that's okay because we're perfect. Everything's perfection, and we're meant to be. We chose, as the one God we are, to have this, as the one I am that we are, to have this experience in separation consciousness. We said we are infinite beings of love and light. We always know who we are. We're God. We can't forget that, but we can create anything. So let's create forgetfulness, and we'll go onto this. We'll create Earth. We created Earth, and we'll have this experience on Earth in the forgetting of who we are. Wouldn't that be awesome? And we'll forget who we are, and let's see how long it takes us to remember that we're pure love, and so is everything else, and we're one with everything. And let's have that experience of the senses, being able to eat a cheesesteak, or being able to eat French fries, or be able to use our senses to put our toes in the ocean, or be able to feel the wind on our face, or all these things. We have senses on Earth. We can use our senses, and we don't have that where on the other side of the veil. They don't have the the senses to experience. One of the things that Archangel Raphael told me once in a group setting was, and this was so funny to me because it made it so real. They said some of the great ascended masters of light who have transitioned recently, and I say transition because we don't die. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. Love energy. It just loses its physical body, but it still has its consciousness. They miss their buffalo sauce. They miss the taste of the buffalo sauce, and that just struck me. I just started laughing out loud because I said, "Oh my gosh, that can't get any better than that." Because that would it put it really in perspective. That they, to be in a physical body right now is such a gift and such a blessing, because we are truly spirit and form. We are that infiniteness in a physical body. We are so much more than this body. We are vast. We are limitless. We are the divine itself. We are the whole bubble. We are everything. So when you wake up and you remember you are that bubble, you are the I am that I am itself, and you surrender. And when we say surrender, it's so important to surrender. Surrender is not surrendering something something outside of yourself. It's surrendering to the highest aspect of you that stayed on the other side of the veil. Let's say, for example's sake, and this is just for example's sake, the 99% of you, greater part of you, of the I am that I am, of the God that you are, stayed on the other side of the veil, and you incarnated the 1% here on Earth. So it's like the hawk in the sky, in the tree rather, when you're in the forest and you're on the ground and you're looking for your car or the road or a water source, or you're looking for food, and you're in this thick forest and you don't have a compass, and your I am is the hawk in the tree. And so what the divine is trying to ask us to remember is to surrender to the highest aspect of who you are and let it navigate this realm for you, this earth realm. Why are you trying to control everything yourself? All you need to do is surrender it to us. This was not meant for you to be in control and trying to figure everything out. This is what they told me, you're the hander over Earth. I am the solver. And here's the other kicker they told me, which I just love, and I really hold on to this because it really puts things in perspective sometimes for me in different situations. And they said, if you can grasp this will really help you raise your consciousness. They said the only reason any perceived problem or issue comes into your life, into your experience, and we say perceive, the masters told me, because it's really a blessing. The reason a perceived situation that is uncomfortable for you comes into your awareness into your life, into your experience, and your experiences is to get you to, in that moment, surrender to me, the highest aspect of who it is that you are, the God that you are, the divine, the I am that you are, whatever you're comfortable with and saying who created you and everything else, and allow me to navigate this earth realm for you on your behalf. Stop doing it. We can't come in and work through you to do things for you with divine perfection if you're trying to steer the ship. There's no space. There's no room. You're taking up all that space. We need you to relinquish control now to your I am that I am, surrender, and allow us to work through you to navigate this world for you with divine ease and grace. And when you do that, because I've done that, hence the title of the book, Now I Am, because right now I am the full embodiment of my I am presence. And I can say that because I truly am. And because I surrender, and everybody can do this too. This is not, remember, there's only one of us here. There's no separation. There's no hierarchy. Going back to what the masters told me, the minute you put me on a pedestal, Jesus said, Mother Mary said, the minute you put us on a pedestal, you dipping back into separation consciousness, somehow thinking we're better than you or we're higher than you. How can that be in oneness? There's only one of us here. So I'll explain in a minute, something I really love, which is the congratulations game. I might as well explain it now since I just started. There's a game everybody can start to play, which is really interesting. I love it. I play it, and I've had amazing results, of course. So in oneness consciousness, there can be no jealousy or envy, because there's only one of us here. So, for example, if you see somebody exhibiting perfect divine health, they're the picture of health, and you see that person, you say, "Oh, I would love to experience that." Or the person who you feel has the best beach house or the best home or the infinite financial wealth or abundance, anything that you would like to experience in your reality. Instead of in that moment dipping into separations consciousness, thinking that person is somehow different than you. There's only one of us here. That can't be. You are one with them. But if you don't know that, I mean, what you want to do instead is you want to say, congratulations, John Doe, for your infinite financial wealth that you are one with now. For I am one with you, I intend, as I am one with all there is that dwells within me now, because I too am the whole bubble. I am the I am that I am. And you make that connection there. You pinpoint a desire you wish to experience in your experience. Congratulations, John Doe, on your infinite financial wealth. And then you make the connection. I am one with you as I am one with all that is. But you must know you're one with all that is to say this, right? You must know you're the I am that I am, and that everything's already been created. And I'll explain that in a minute. And then you say, thank you, universe, or the I am that I am, or God, or whatever you're comfortable with, for that gift now. Now, the universe, I like to equate this to you sitting at a table at a restaurant. You're perpetually placing an order to the universe for your thoughts, words, actions, and beliefs. And the universe is constantly taking your order, running to the kitchen, and bringing you exactly what you're thinking about, believing, acting, and doing, and saying. Always. That's how it works. So what are you focusing your attention on? That's what you're asking for more of. So that's what you're doing. So, but when you play the congratulations game, it's a beautiful thing, because you're telling the unit, first of all, you're pinpointing a desire you wish to experience in your reality, that infinite financial wealth, which you, by the way, you're already one with, because you're the whole bubble, and everything exists now, in the now. There's no time, by the way, but I'll get into that later. Everything exists in the eternal now moment. And when you intend it, it's instantaneous and it's coming forth for you. And so I say, congratulations, John Doe, on your infinite abundance now. I make the connection. I'm one with you as I'm one with all that is now. Thank you. And then being grateful for something you're telling the universe, you know, you already have it. Thank you for that gift now. And by universal law, you cannot help but receive that which you know you're one with. It must be so by universal law. So I tell people, you have to know who you are to play this game. You can't be a car salesman unless you can't sell a car unless you know you're a car salesman. Otherwise, you're aimlessly walking around the street and people say, "What do you do?" And you say, "I don't know." I don't know. And a lot of people are doing that right now. And there's no judgment. It's just they're waking up right now. Many people on the planet are waking up in droves right now. And it's amazing. And that is because there's such an influx of light from the higher beings of light, from the Ascended Master's octave of light, from the beautiful ascended cosmic beings of light who have invested interest on the raising of consciousness of humanity now. They're bombarding this planet with pure unconditional love and light. And there's so many of us who have already awakened and are holding that light and are able to hold that light and are, because of that, more light can come forth. So we're calling it in, so to speak, and we're holding it and we're placing it down into the earth by grounding that light into Mother Earth. And so that's taking place now. And that light is awakening people's consciousness, and just if an enlightened being walked the earth, as they walk the earth, whether you realize it or not, they're awakening other beings of light because love is that powerful.
Now, I get the sense that there's quite a few people that you gather periodically at like conventions or you get together somehow.
Well, I'm actually I work with a friend of mine who has a house nearby. She, I've known her since in and around 2013. Her name is Kelly Koldny, Koldney. She channels the angel Raphael, who is the healing angel on the fifth ray, with Mother Mary and Ascended Master Hilarion, some other beautiful ascended beings of love and light. And she is a pure, clear channel for Divine Archangel Raphael and many other light beings, but mostly Raphael. And she's been doing this since 1989. And so I used to go to her for individual sessions. She doesn't do that anymore because it's now worldwide, right? There was a purpose and time for that, but now it's evolved. And more awakened, the call is greater. And so she has, you can look her up, Kelly Koldny, the Angel Raphael, online. You'll find her website. And she has free Sunday calls at 2 p.m. Eastern time for anybody who would like to be in the Angel Raphael's energy. We receive activations and blessing. And just by sitting and listening, being in that energy, you receive healing energy. It's so powerful. But you can also take it one step further and join her. She has, well, I don't know exactly what the specific names for them are, but she has different tiers of getting involved, to help the planet, to help yourself, to help Mother Earth, because it's all one, really. As you help yourself, you're helping the earth. And so I work closely with other beautiful, my starseed brothers and sisters, human beings who are awakened and are awakening. And we do things for the planet to assist her and to assist the awakening of the rest of humanity, like podcasts like yours and speaking out and being our authentic selves. Because right now there's a call going out to all of us who are awake to kick it up a notch. I wasn't speaking before. I was just writing, and they came in loud and clear and they said, we need you to speak and we need you to go to venues and we need you to do, and then hence your podcast came into my awareness and other things came into my awareness, and they're like, get on it, because they want this message out loud and clear. It's time to awaken. And I give an example. It's like this. We're all in a boat together and the tide has shifted. It's going north. By divine decree, okay? By divine decree, God's will. It's going north by divine will. Now, there are many people, human beings, who are rowing, who have turned and faced north thousands of years ago, the great masters. And they're living with ease and grace, right? And even on the planet today, there's awakened beings of light. Their whole lives are flowing with ease and grace because they've turned northward and there's no struggle in the paddling for them. It's just ease and grace. And they remember who they are and they're full embodiment of it. Then you have others who are just standing up and making the shift and turning now and starting to face forward, northward, going with the ship. And then you still have others who are face southward and who are, looking at the back of the ship, still thinking the boat's going that way. And they're struggling and they're paddling and they're experiencing suffering and disease and all kinds of things because they don't know that the boat is going north. They don't know who they are. They don't know. And that's why the message to get out to humanity is so important. Many, many, many people, not just me, many are speaking out now. And you're going to see more and more and more of it. Yeah.
So for the people who are enlightened, who are awakened, in their regular lives, their day to day, the basic idea of the premise of this particular podcast, of course, is creativity. So how does that come together? How does this help a creative person?
Well, I can't speak for them. I can speak for me, but we're creators, so we create. That's who we are. The I am is the creator of worlds. We're creators of worlds, and we create. And I do poetry, and that's part of my soul mission. I divinely channel poetry and writings and books. I'm working on 10 books now.
10?
Yeah, 10. I have 10.
10?
And these books are going to be called Making the Call. And they are invocations and affirmations with explanations on why they are important to make these calls, because we have divine freedom of will. And the masters of light and the I am that I am and the angelic hosts, the great cosmic beings of light, they can't assist us until we ask for their help. And they can't come into this earth and dissolve and consume unconscious thought forms that are floating around from people who aren't aware they're God and are focusing on scary things. Or say you watch a movie, a horror movie, and then you're thinking all kinds of things. Well, you're the creator. What you think of, you're bringing forth into your reality, because remember, what you focus on is what you get. That's how it works. So you always want to focus on love and kind things. And the angels even say, turn off the black box, meaning the computer, the TV. And they don't, everything in moderation, of course, but what they mean is don't watch the news. Don't watch the fear-feeding things that are going to make you upset. And why would you do that? You're bringing more of it into your reality. So, because we create our reality through our thoughts, words, actions, and beliefs. And back to the creativity part, we each have a soul purpose. And, many of my friends who are on their awakening journey are painters, are writers, are sculptors, are, a plethora of things, any outlet of creativity. They're expressing the divine. Remember, we're infinite awareness, having experience through us. So the soul wants to do everything, get its hands in everything, right? But each of us have different soul contracts for our lifetime. And only the I am that I am knows what they are. And if you're enlightened to that, if you hear your I am, if you're merged with your I am, you can hear what they are, and you go forth on that path. But if you don't know anything, if you're just starting out, follow your joy. That's your I am talking to you, your gut feeling. For example, a simple example, you get invited to a party and your first inclination is, oh, I don't want to go to that. Follow it. Don't go to it, because that was your God self coming and saying, you're not going to have a good time because you're one with everything and everyone. Nobody else is going to have a good time in your presence because you're not going to have a good time. The energy there is going to be, so don't, follow that. But sometimes people think, oh, I got to push through this. Like, for example, if you get tired during the day and you have tons of chores to do, whatever's on your to-do list, the most loving thing you could do, remember, we're love. It's going back to the remembrance we're love and embodying that love for self first and foremost, and for all that is, that we are one with, is to love and honor self. And that may look like your body gets tired in the afternoon. Well, the loving master would lay right down, no questions about it. He would not push through anything. Society has taught us, well, you got to do. Well, no, guess what? It's the opposite. You just be. And so I'm not saying you don't take action, but you be still, and you surrender to the higher aspect of you. Then you listen, and then for example, I go to the dentist. I always surrender my dental appointment and all the energy connected to it, and any work he's going to do in my mouth, to my I am presence, because I want my I am presence working through him and me, doing the dental work. I don't want the human being in my mouth. I want God, who is divine perfection at all times, working in my mouth. Who would you want? A human who could have error, or a perfection, right? Always perfection. Same thing when I go flying on a plane. I surrender the flying of the commandeering, I surrender the flying of the plane to my I am presence. I mean, these are things you can call in. Whenever I drive my car, and the divine wants you, the I am wants you to get ridiculous with it. So you form a path, a new pathway. For example, like just you've seen if you go to the zoo, you see a cheetah that walks around, or a lion, and they walk one way, and they've forged they made a giant pathway there, a gully, so to speak. Well, now we're turning around, so we have to get it going in the other direction. We have to get ridiculous with our surrendering. So, because there's nothing too big or too small to surrender to the highest aspect of who it is that you are. So it can work through you. And now when you start to do this, when you say, I intend, because energy follows intention, you always want to say the word intend. I intend that I am the victory of surrendering, my whole day today to my I am presence, the highest divine aspect of who it is that I am. And I'm grateful to you for that. I send you love, my I am. So be it, and so it is. So now what did I just do? I handed over, I'm the hander overer. I handed it over to the ultimate solver of anything and ever. I surrendered my whole day. And that's exactly what we're meant to do. We're co-creators in this experience with the I am navigating, God navigating. So I surrendered it because it can see everything. It knows where the traffic is. It knows where the whatever, and it will not take me there. It's perfection. It only produces perfection 24/7, 365, forever. So then I move throughout my day, and if I get a phone call right when I'm supposed to get a phone call, I'll hear from somebody I'm supposed to hear from somebody. Or sometimes I sit and I'll hear there's a package at the door, and I'll go down, there's a package. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you are also a motivational speaker, is that correct?
I am now. And be honest with you, it wasn't my comfort zone, and I'm like, seriously, this was in my soul contract, because before we incarnate, we sit around the table with the Council of Light, they're called, and other masters of light and ascended beings of light, like the great masters. And we decide everything: who our mother's going to be, who our children are going to be, who's going to come into our life at this point and teach us this lesson, and we're going to awaken to this truth, who's going to provide this for us, because everybody's a mirror of reflection for us, because we're one. Nothing's personal. Everything's a mirror. If somebody comes at you and says something to you and it triggers you, that's a blessing, because they're holding a mirror of that emotion in you that just got triggered, whether it's anger or fear or whatever it could be. To, in that moment, you're meant to stop. Okay, what am I feeling? I'm feeling angry. That person just cut me off in traffic. Okay, I'm feeling angry. So I'm going to send love to anger, and I'm going to honor it as the divine perfection that it is, as the God that it is, because everything is God in that bubble, and there's nothing outside of creation. So that anger I'm feeling is also God. So I don't want to resist it, because whatever I resist persists. So I want to accept it as part of the God family that it is. I want to give it its life, allow it to speak. And then you verbalize, you say in a safe way. You don't have to engage with that person who did it. Absolutely not. You, at your own way, as soon as you realize it, you just say everything, get it out, let it have that anger have its life. Because when you think about it, and then it can just move on. It doesn't need to, because every emotion is meant to be felt. Because when you have a joyful emotion, we want to tell everybody about that, right? Oh, I'm so happy. I got this news or that news. But when you have a feeling of jealousy or anger or resentment, we tend to tuck that away because we're ashamed. We don't want anybody to know about that. But what happens is that gets stored, and it has to come back, because each time it comes into your awareness, it's giving you the opportunity to recognize in that moment that it's asking for love and to be honored as divinity that it is. Those two things. You can think of it as a child wanting to be fed. It wants your love and your honoring of it as the God that it is, because there's nothing outside the bubble. It too is in the bubble. And when we resist it, it stays in our energy field, And if we keep resisting it, if it comes to us in other experiences, you keep getting opportunities where you're angry, because the universe is really just trying to tell you, hey, in this moment where you're angry, send it love, let it have its voice, honor it as divine perfection, and then it will leave. It just wants that from you. That's it. But if you keep pushing me away, I'm gonna talk louder and louder. And then what happens? It'll manifest as a physical disease
Right.
to get your attention. Then it really gets your attention, right? Because you're on your behind and you're laying in a hospital bed, and now it has your full attention. You're not going anywhere, busying during the day. It has your full attention. And even then, maybe it won't get your attention, but it usually does. People have epiphanies then. But that's what it was. You don't want to resist anything. You want to embrace everything, because everything is God, no matter how it shows up. No matter how crazy it shows up, it's all God and it's all perfect. And how do you know that? Because it is showing up.
Kim, thank you so much for being on the show. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you come back sometime soon.
Oh, I'd love
And
to.
we can talk more about this. The book is called Now I Am. It's available on your site and Amazon as well.
Yep.
And so hopefully people will check it out. And
Yeah, and there's great affirmations, takeaways for your toolbox, I call them. Powerful affirmation in the back of each chapter.
great.
So
Thank you so much.
thanks so much, Ryan.